Hey guys, it's Debbie and I hope y'all are doing well. I just wanted to pop on here again and I decided that I was going to do another live art show and tell. And if you guys aren't aware, I'm a mixed media, multi-passionate creative. I like to use a lot of different things when I'm creating art, but I wanted to let you guys know, thanks for joining, that you don't have to have fancy art supplies. I'm actually going to show you guys some stuff that I used with literally children's watercolor paint that you can get at either like the dollar store or the grocery store or the kids craft section or the back to school section, and actual craft paints that are like under $1. They're not like the higher quality acrylics, but I don't think that you necessarily need to have that. And yeah, I just wanted to show you guys a couple of really cool things. So I had gone on here before and I had talked about some intuitive art, and I showed you guys a couple of the intuitive art pieces, and I have a couple more to show you today. And then I also did a live where I was talking about kind of the behind the scenes process of one of the pieces I did called My Muse Walt. But I wanted to show you guys something really simple. It happens to be pouring rain here today, and depending on when you're watching this or where you are at, you may have children at home for the summer, and this would be like a really cool kids summer camp type project, just to do stuff at home. I always used to love those paint with watercolor books when I was a kid. They were just like a coloring book, but then when you added water, it was just like super magical. But this is literally done with kids watercolor paints, and this is multimedia kind of mixed paper that can be used for drawing. It can be used for watercolor or crayons or whatever you have. And this one I just did a lot of, as you can see, like blue and purple and maybe a little bit of yellow and then green. And what I like to do, and I had kind of mentioned this before, is a really fun thing is if you get a stencil, and these could be any shape that you want, I like to turn it upside down when I actually stencil it, because that way I'm actually surprised with the outcome of what the little pieces are going to look like. And that way you could have any shape that you want. And here's another really cool one. This one is just sort of like a free form. It almost looks like I kind of like threw watercolor paint onto the paper, but I wanted to give you guys another really cool idea. This happens to be distilled water with essential oil that I kind of use as a natural mist, like instead of a perfume and stuff like that. So basically you could actually spray this on here. So if you were to have watercolor and then you sprayed onto it, it would kind of make the colors just sort of blend together a little bit more. And then if you do use essential oil, it actually gives it a little bit of like blend together a little bit more. And then if you do use essential oil, it actually gives it a little bit of like add anybody on, but thank you for joining. So anyway, what I ended up doing was I cut out the little pieces, and this is a really cool one that I can show you. I like to use these for gift tags. Like you can take a hole punch and you can use this as a gift tag. Another really cool thing is if you're like having a party and you wanted to put out seating for people, you could do that. You could put their name on it and something like that. And you can see this one's a little bit of different color. And then another really cool thing is to make your own affirmation cards, or you could give this as a gift tag. And I'm into personal growth and development, and I follow a lot of people, and the late great Bob Proctor had a saying that if you were to say, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then you insert whatever you want, and on this particular one I put that I am healthy. And you could make an entire little stack of these little cards. give them as gifts. I've done that for people before. Instead of using like a hole punch, I would maybe, you know, like a little one, I would use a big crafting one. And then I've made ones with flowers, and I've done them like for bouquets and stuff like that for people. Another thing is I am a nationally certified mental health first aider for youth and adults. And that just means that I know like what to look for if somebody's struggling, or if they just need somebody with a listening ear, or if I was like in a workplace environment or around a family or friend and saw them maybe struggling with something, you know, hopefully they would feel comfortable to open up to talk to me, and I would kind of know whether or not they needed, you know, additional support. But another really thing that I am passionate about is you know, our veterans, and a lot of them deal with PTSD. Now, this particular piece right here is something I actually did, and in a way, I would consider it intuitive art, but not guided intuitive art with another artist like I've done, and I'll show you a few more of those pieces. This is something I actually did to sort of process emotions, and usually it's something like that when I, you know, have like if I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed, or, you know, grief of some sort, you know, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. And this again is just simple watercolor paper. I actually did name this one, and I dated it. And a lot of times in conjunction with something like that, I will do journaling, but that is a great way to color out your emotions. And another cool thing you can do, especially with these types of papers that are in like spiral bound notebooks, is I will cut off the edges, and these are just little tiny pieces right here. Now you could make them any width that you want to, and I will use them for bookmarks, and I think that that's something really fun. I've used these ones that have had like green on them and stuff like that for like making you know, what do you want to call it, like flower petals, where I've taken a hole punch or I've made a little flower, and then I will use these as little stems, or I'll cut out little leaves. But that's a really cool thing. I don't like to waste anything. I like to repurpose and recycle everything. So I went ahead and made these into, you know, like little notebook, you know, markers or whatever. Now, another piece that I did with an actual, practitioner, and she has her own practice of and her own way of doing that, and she calls it art medicine, and I've done a lot of her different things. Now this is actually 5 days worth of layered art, and it was during a 5-day challenge, and I had made a reel about it. I know it's on one of my other platforms. I'm not sure if I had posted it on this platform, but if you do go to my bio in the link tree, it links up to everything else. And this actually is 5 different layers with journaling, and I think there was journaling prompts, and I might actually use this for an upcoming project. When I did it, it was quite a while ago, maybe a couple of months ago, but now there's an exhibition that I'm looking to enter some pieces into. And if you can see here, there's a lot of swirls, and to me, swirls mean energy. There were some hearts on here. To me, I went ahead and put music notes on here. And so for the particular piece that I'm thinking of using this for, again, it would be like a mixed media piece. I was thinking of writing something across this, either handwriting it or maybe trying to paint it or something like that. But this is an example of an intuitive art project. Now, that same instructor has been doing this for a long time, and I've been following her for quite a while. This is another type of intuitive art. This is on a thin canvas, and I'm liking these. I get these like at the dollar store. This is like the children's craft paint. This again was an intuitive project with a practitioner for like a free offering that she had. And what I did with this is, I believe it was also a multi-day process. And each day I put different layers on here, and you can see the color scheme that I chose to go with was like light blue, purple, like a yellow and an orange. And then the actual texture on this, if you can see it, is literally a kitchen sponge, a brand new kitchen sponge that I had cut a piece out of, and it's the one that has all the like little holes in it, so that when I was putting that on there, you know, sponge painting was very popular back in the day, like, I don't know, the 80s, 90s, that type of thing, and somebody on, but thank you. So anyway, this is just literally craft paint. And again, this piece and this piece I might somehow try to use together, because I feel like they have a similar vibe and they have a similar color scheme. So I just want you guys to know that, you know, I believe that creativity is our birthright, and I believe that everybody's creative. And I also think that creativity gets pushed down. Sometimes it's our own self not thinking that we have the creative talent, or a well-meaning, you know, parent, teacher, coach, somebody was like, you know, you maybe can't make a living doing art. Well, I'm not necessarily saying that you have to make a living doing art. I mean, ideally, if you're an artist of any kind, that would maybe be your goal. But I just think it's a great way to tap into your emotions. Like in this particular piece, the prompts for this were kind of affirming to me. Oops, I hit it upside down. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, kind of affirming to me. And I am kind of on a mission to create a global movement around self-love using art and natural modalities. And different ways that you guys can get yourself into a creative state are like this. This is an essential oil, literally just essential oil. This one happens to be peppermint. Peppermint's really good, like if you have a headache, or if you're feeling fatigued, or if you're like in front of the computer or something like that, and you just want to mist it around in the room. You know, you can do that. I've got like this rose quartz necklace on, and they say rose quartz is like, you know, the love, you know, gemstone, if you will. And then you could prepare your space. I'm going to try to turn this really quick. I don't know how it's going to work. No, I don't think it's going to work because I have the camera reversed, but I do have Himalayan salt lamps in my space, like all throughout my house. So in my craft room, my creative space, I have a chakra lamp, and basically it's just one of those light bulbs where you can go in and you can change the different chakra colors. So if you wanted to feel more grounded, you could do the red. If you wanted to do like more creativity, you could do the orange. If you wanted to like tap into your heart center, you could do the green. And then like if you wanted to tap into your intuition, you could do like that purplish blue. So that's one thing that you can do. You can have the Himalayan salt lamps on. You can have different relaxing music. You could listen to a guided meditation, but you don't even have to get like that serious to do it. Like you could literally just be like, you know what, I'm feeling stressed and I want to color out my emotions. I mean, don't you realize that several years back they came up with the adult coloring books because adults were wanting to do something maybe rather than just doodling. And I always loved doing coloring books. And even my mom, like when we would go to bed as kids, we would like pick out like a picture, like, could you color this for me? And then because obviously her skills were a lot better than my sister and I when we were small children, but color this out and then leave it, out for us in the morning, that type of thing. So there's so many different things that you can do to process your emotions. And that would be like one of the easiest ones to do would be to get either one of those paint by number. I was just at Walmart today getting some craft supplies for another project that I was going to be doing. And I saw paint by number, and they weren't like for children, they were for adults. And you could do that. You could do something, like I said, as simple as taking some water, taking a couple colors that you're feeling drawn to, and then like spattering them onto the page. Another thing that I had gotten recently for another project that I did was spray pre-mixed tie-dye. And yeah, it's definitely for fabric. And the one piece that I did for the pollution or solution, I was using recycled socks because they were asking us to use recycled items, and I used it on the socks. But I'm going to try it for this other project that I'm going to be doing on wood. I had bought this little wooden beaded, I don't know, I guess you could use it like as a drapery pullback thing. I'm not even sure exactly. Thanks. I'm not exactly sure what it's meant for. I guess you could even like wear it as a necklace. I have a different idea for it, but I think that you could literally do that, and then you don't have to mess with mixing dyes. And another cool thing that I do, and maybe I will bring pieces specifically for that on, is using plant pigments and using everyday items that you might have in your pantry, such as spices, and even pigment from vegetables for doing different, projects, which is really simple and everything like that. So basically, I post a lot of different things on here. I'll post clips from different things. I'm going to try to go live like at least once a week if I can. I'm going to save these, then I'm reposting these in their entirety to one of the other platforms. And again, if you go to the link tree, you'll be able to find all that. But I don't know. Grew up kind of loving art as a child in school. It was always my favorite subject when I got on to like junior high and on to high school. And then when I got into high school, I really focused on doing a lot of art classes. Literally, my senior year was like almost all art classes, other than things that I had to take that were required. And then when I went to college, I studied commercial art and advertising, and I didn't even know where that was going to lead me. It led me to doing visual display merchandising, and I always think about that. Thanks. I'm not going to bring in anybody at the moment. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I ended up being a visual display merchandiser, where I got to dress mannequins and do window decorating and make props, and that was super fun. And then it led me to a little bit of burnout. And I was recently interviewed for a podcast, and we were talking about burnout. And part of that was being around, for me, there was a lot of things, but it was being around toxic chemicals, meaning art supplies and different things. So that's why I try to use stuff that's really non-toxic, and being really careful with that. But then I was I was a wedding coordinator for a while. So I got, my crafting came back in, where I was making bouquets and different things like that, headpieces. I did Wilton cake decorating. I've done a lot of different things. And then I kind of got out of that for a while. I ended up working for 23 years in the holistic wellness industry. Part of the reason I ended up in that industry was because I had so much fatigue and I had so much burnout, and I had a lot going on in my body physically that I needed natural modalities to try to heal that. And then the last couple of years, I have gotten back into doing more hands-on type of art. Over the years, when I was really kind of in the thick of it, working in the wellness industry, I got to do like themed events, got to go and do talks about different things for wellness and stuff like that. And then I was only doing like stuff around the house, like maybe decorating for Christmas, and we pretty much do go all out. And, was doing like more like themed parties just for family and friends like that. So my, artist, if you will, when I, always kind of introduce myself, is more like I'm a mixed media, multi-passionate creative, because I also love photography, and I also love, party planning, and I love home decor and all of that. So on here and on some of my other things, you guys will see me doing a variety of different creative things. But my goal, again, is to get people into their own creativity. And again, this was so simple. It is literally 4 colors. It's on a thin artboard that you can get at the dollar store. This was intuitive, but it doesn't need to be intuitive for you. You can just have some fun. I used one of those foam brushes to kind of put the base layers down, and then I literally went over it with a clean brand new kitchen sponge that I had cut into smaller pieces to make this pattern. Now, this particular pattern is actually something that I uploaded to one of the creators' sites where you can get this print to order on a variety of different things, including like clothing and wall prints. Since I'm not really selling the originals, I was just in a recent exhibition that's wrapping up this week, and my husband's, wanting me to sell them. And even somebody he works with is like, well, why isn't she selling the art? And I'm like, well, because I'd like to get enough current art to have my own showing somewhere, like a pop-up event or something like that. But getting back to creativity being our birthright, I just don't ever want people, meaning children or adults, to think that they don't have a creative bone in their body. Like my mom thinks all she can draw is like stick people, and I reminded her that I think part of my love of wanting to do creative things came from her, because when we were kids she was always making wreaths, or she was doing like the next big fad thing that I don't even know where she learned it. I think maybe locally there must have been like an art thing, and she was doing like macrame, and she was doing quilling, and she was doing floral arranging and stuff like that. And I love everything retro anyway, so all of that kind of stuff is just fun for me. But if you guys are interested, I was approached, I guess they ask you or whatever to be having the availability to do subscription on here. And, that couple of things that I had was like that you guys could help me pick out topics to talk about live, or maybe I would bring somebody on here live, like it would be prearranged type of thing, and then we could do like a TikTok live and talk together. And I think of art in a variety of different ways, meaning physical, tangible art, something like this that you can hold, photography, literally, crafting little things like this that you can do for parties, party planning. And then also, I have a huge love of music, and I was on here the other day just showing that I was kind of giving a shout out to a young local musician and some other young musicians from our local School of Rock that we had a chance to see the other night. And then also like plant-based culinarians, because food is art, especially, the way it's prepared. And if you go to one of my other platforms, and even sometimes on here, I'll make up little reels and I'll show some semi-homemade. I don't make a lot of stuff from scratch, but I do a lot of semi-homemade, and I do a lot of plant pigments with, the projects that I do for like painting and different things, or I'll use like natural things to stain stuff like coffee and tea and that type of thing. But I am a plant-based vegan, and that was part of my healing journey. So I'm always looking to connect with other, what I would call like-minded, multi-passionate creatives, meaning people that are into the healing arts, people that are into the performing arts, people that are into visual arts, and then people that are in music. And I believe that if we can shine a light on each other and lift each other up and encourage each other in all of our endeavors and all of our dreams, and give each other, ideas and that type of thing, and then we can put our positive vibes, if you will, out there to kind of raise the vibration and help others do that. And another really cool way to get into a different energetic state, I follow a lot of, people that are in the personal growth and development space. So obviously they all have their own little ways that you can do that. But right before I got on here, I did a little bit of Qigong. And a couple of years ago, I think it was, when everybody was kind of doing everything online, I found a couple that's, probably my age or around my age, super nice couple. And she has a background in dance, and he has a background in, martial arts. I am not going to bring anybody on at the moment, but thank you. So basically, they have come together and they have their own studio in their home, and they pretty much do everything virtual now. They had physical dance studios and, martial arts studios back in the day. But anyway, a super easy way that you can do that is to do a little bit of like energy work or shifting energy. But one very, very simple thing that doesn't even take like a routine or does doing like anything like that is literally, if you want to do something creative, let's say you're stuck and you're a writer, or you're, having to, I don't know, write an article, or you're writing a book, or you're, I write poetry and stuff like that. Or like you're writing song lyrics, or you need to have your, headspace right for some big project or presentation you have at work. Literally, one of the easiest things you can do is literally just rub your hands together, because you're stimulating both sides of the brain. And I'm fascinated by the brain anyway, and there's always like new research out there. But another cool thing that they taught me, meaning the couple that does Qigong, is there's meridian points here on the outsides of your hands, here and here. So if you tap them lightly, and then you can kind of go like this with the palms of your hands, and what you're trying to do is like stir up energy. But you know how magnets, when you try to put them together, if you have two that are, like opposite, they do that thing where they push, or you try to push a beach ball down like in a swimming pool or body of water or something like that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to create energy in between your hands, and you can fan your hands back and forth, and you can rotate them back and forth like this, and they kind of have you go through the entire chakras and have you come back. But the solar plexus kind of area slash, the lower three chakras, you could put your hands on that space after you've kind of done that, or you could kind of put them on your heart. And again, journaling is a really cool way to do journaling in conjunction with doing, your own type of practice or your own art. A lot of people that I follow do art journaling every morning. I don't do that per se, but again, if you have something like this, you could, to me, again, this is energy, and there's like hearts in here, so that's kind of like positive vibes, and there's music in here, and so that's just something really simple that you guys can do. But anyway, I just wanted to pop on and say hi, give you guys a couple of ideas, inexpensive ideas, really easy ideas for creating either watercolor or acrylic art, whether it's intuitive or it's not, whether you consider yourself an artist or a beginner, or you want to do it with your kids or your grandkids, or kids that you might be babysitting or whatever that is, and just send you guys out some positive vibes. And I will save this, and I might share a clip of that on here. But if you guys want to like or share or follow, I appreciate it. And like I said, I am excited. Thanks. I am excited about wanting to help other people tap into their, birthright of creativity, and whatever that might be. That might be gardening for you. That might be flower arranging. That might be cooking. Like with everything that people have going on, sometimes they just get so far away from their true authentic self and the things that they loved doing. Whatever that is for you, it could be working on, woodworking, or, the exhibition that I was in. My husband and I went down the other night, and the person that won, actually, because again, they wanted us to try to use recycled parts, had made something out of recycled car parts, which was really cool. So, you could make something out of anything. And even if you never show it, even if you never sell it, even if you never, post it on a social media, just like do it for you. It's, it's so cathartic, and it brings you back into that state of childlike faith and imagination. And speaking of imagination, I was just watching something yesterday. I'm always doing like personal growth and development. I was on a 10-hour weekend workshop, 5 days, both 5 hours both days. And I can't remember who the host was quoting, but he was saying that whoever he was quoting was saying that imagination is actually more important than knowledge. And one last thing I will leave you guys with, if you're familiar with Rick Warren and the Purpose Driven Life, and the whole point of that book was to get you back into your purpose, said that only 1 out of every 10 people go after their dreams. So for every one person that goes after their dreams, there's 9 people that don't. And the main reason that most people don't is because of fear, whether that be fear of being judged, fear of not being good enough, fear of failure, fear of what is somebody going to say if I go after my dreams, whatever it is, that is so sad to me. So my goal is to get that percentage up to at least halfway. But anyway, thank you all for joining. Thank you for liking, sharing, being part of this. And I will try to come on here at least once a week if I can. And if you do decide you want to subscribe or follow on any other platforms, definitely do that, because one of the ladies that I follow that does a lot of energy work, and I don't usually get on here when she's live on here because she goes on at various different times, but she rebroadcasts to her other platform. She always says, you never know who needs to hear this. So not only does it help the creator, but it helps the prospective audience member that maybe wouldn't have normally come across this. So if it's something that you and I kind of have in common, or if you like my, whimsical approach to life, today happens to be International Fairy Day, which I love. And I posted something on one of the other platforms. And as a Disney girl, of course, I love, Tinkerbell and all the other little fairies and fairy tales. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. And again, if you want to send me a message, you can do that if there is a topic that you would like me to speak more about. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining. Bye.